Hello SPHL and Riverman fans, and welcome to the video, and as always, thank you for watching. And in this video, SPHL has announced some rule changes and some updates, if you will. Couple of which that I'm very excited about, and another one that I'm interested in that sounds like it could work out, sounds like a good idea. Now I'll kind of explain why I think it might be good for the league and a good idea to implement this. But, you know, at the end of the day, we'll just have to wait and see what it looks like on ice. In theory, it sounds good, but again, we'll just have to see how it works out. First rule change I'm excited about is now they've moved to a 4-man officiating system. That's not going to be all season. It will be, obviously, in the playoffs game. It's been in the playoffs for a minute. But now they're going to, I don't know if this is to test it out during the season, but it's only going to cover 25% of all SPHL games. And it's going to focus mainly on the back end of the season. I'm guessing kind of like a warm-up for the officials, for them to get used to working with the 2-ref system, and hopefully as the years go by, it becomes full-time instead of just part of the year or half the year and just in the back end of the year. As fans, we want to see 2 refs and 2 linesmen for a full season. And of course during the playoffs. That's the ultimate goal, but this is a step in the right direction, especially focusing on the back half of the season, so officiating crews get used quicker to each other, and they can develop a chemistry of their own on how they call games. So that's always good news. So I'm glad to hear that the SPHL has moved itself forward in the right direction, implementing that into the league. Also, what I'm excited about is an extra player gets to dress for the season and the playoffs both. That's pretty cool, because if somebody gets injured during a game or whatever, gets a game misconduct even, or something like that early in the game, the roster, the way it's set up, gets pretty limited. It's still pretty limited if you think about it, but I mean, you basically only had 1 extra player on the bench. At least this adds an extra player to where the teams can kind of cover themselves a little bit better in those situations, because obviously, hockey's a physical sport. It's a tough sport. It's good to have that extra guy on the bench while a guy's getting checked out in the back, or if he has to leave the game entirely. It's good to have that extra guy on the bench that can fill in for that role, so you don't have to basically add more minutes to your players and risk them getting hurt as well. So I love that they bumped that up to 1 extra guy. That's awesome news, and I'm excited to see that in this upcoming season as well. Now for the big rule change, or new rule added to the SPHL, the overtime over and back rule. On the surface and the concept of this rule, I understand and I'm okay with. It sounds good in theory, and I'm anxious to see how it plays out on the ice, but I understand their way of thinking on this rule. Now, the rule states that during overtime, the rule eliminates defensive movement of the puck, leading to increased scoring opportunities for the offense. And I understand why they say that, because during the season, it's not 5-on-5 in overtime, it's 3-on-3. So the ice is much more wide open. And that's why you see players, because of the ice being more wide open, you'll see them skate in the offensive zone. They don't get a good look, and I'm just going to skate right back outside of the zone, and kind of like hits the reset button. It kind of eliminates that. It kind of forces you to set up in the offensive zone, forces you to shoot the puck more often, and it actually gives the other team a chance to gain possession back and go down in their offensive zone and do the same thing. Without this rule, the team that has possession, they can kind of lollygag with the puck, drain a lot of time just keeping possession, by skating in the offensive zone, then skating right back out to reset. It's harder for the other team to gain possession. It's fewer possessions, fewer offensive opportunities for the team. So I kind of understand their way of thinking. This forces you to set up in the offensive zone and shoot the puck more often, and it gives the other team a chance to get some rebounds and go down and do the same thing. So I get it. The rule is once you go onside and gain full possession of the puck in your offensive zone, like I said, that means you got to stay there. You can't skate out, and if you do, the play's called dead, and then you have a face-off in your defensive zone, and you can't do any line changes, and you can't call a timeout to rest players. So, again, like I said, if they do skate out on purpose just because they want to reset, play's going to be called dead, and they're going to have a face-off in their defensive zone. Can't change lines, and you can't call timeout to rest players. So it's not a penalty. It's not like somebody serves 2 minutes in the box and you get a power play. That's not why this rule's set up. It's just set up to where, like I said, it forces you to shoot the puck more often. Now you'll have more of an urgency to shoot the puck in overtime, and gives both teams more opportunities to do so, because they want to end the game in overtime, in all honesty. The shootouts, I'm not a big fan of shootouts. And really, I don't think a lot of leagues are fans of the shootout either. They would rather the game end in overtime than go to a shootout. So this betters that chance for a game to end in overtime instead of going to a shootout. Again, which I like. I don't know if they're going to implement this in the playoffs, because, like I said, the only reason they skate the puck out of the zone in the first place on purpose most times is because the ice is wide open and allows them to reset, and, they have more freedom to skate around, and they don't, it's the ice ain't as crowded. So that's why it's easier for them to skate out and reset and skate back in. So in the playoffs, I'm kind of hoping they don't enforce that rule, because it's not like you'll be seeing them skate out of the zone on purpose a whole lot. Because it'll just be like they're playing regulation periods and playoff overtime, because it's 20-minute 5-on-5, so I don't know if it doesn't say they're going to cut that rule out in the playoffs, but it doesn't say it's going to apply that rule in the playoffs either, so I'm kind of curious on that, if they do still apply this new rule change in the playoffs. But as far as the season goes, 5 minutes, 3-on-3. In theory, I understand this rule and why they came up with it and is going to enforce it. It does force teams to shoot more in overtime, and kind of forces them to set up in the offensive zone 3-on-3. So, yeah, I like it in theory, and we'll see how it pans out as the season progresses. So, those are the changes. I hope I explained it in a way that was easily understood by everyone. Like I said, hey, I'm new to the rule too. I'm no on ice or off ice official. Again, just a fan. I'm just interpreting the rule as I read it. I've read it a couple of times. So as that's how I understand it as it's laid out. So I hope I explained that well enough. The one rule I wish I still seen is, I think if the penalty killing team scores a goal, that should eliminate the power play and the guy comes out of the box. I think that rule is awesome. I think it should be a rule in all leagues because it rewards the penalty killing team for scoring a goal, and it eliminates the power play for the other team. I think that's a great rule, and I wish all leagues would implement that rule as well, but we'll see what the future holds for that one. So with that, I'll go ahead and wrap it up, and I'll catch you guys at the next puck drop, and I always keep it Riverman style.